I love seeing other entrepreneurs really have a heart for serving other people with their own skill sets. I think that's fantastic, and kudos to you for going down that journey. That is really a big step. Even in the U.S., it's a big step. So I commend you and praise you for that. That's awesome, and thank God that you guys are willing to do that and take that step. So a little bit more about me. Yes, my I think my first business was a lawn mowing business, but to be honest, Adam, I didn't mow a single lawn. So my first endeavor as a entrepreneur was an absolute failure. When you look at the statistics on it, but in reality, it was a success because I learned a lot. And I've had subsequent failures after that. So, one of the entrepreneur journeys is that you're willing to fail in order to learn what you need to do and to accomplish. Uh, I was in college when I started that business, and bought a lawnmower, bought a lot of stuff, and then all before I had the first customer, and then never got a customer, and basically sold all the equipment to somebody else and said, "Hey, it's lawn mowing was not for me at that time." But computers interested me. I found something that I was a little skilled at, a little passionate at, and most importantly, was willing to serve others with in that skill set, and it was something that other people needed. So, in developing that customer relationship, as Adam said, that is probably the biggest thing that you can learn outside of how you want to serve people. But it's really boils down to, why do you want to serve people? And it's got to be more than just for you earning a living. It's really to give to them, to serve them, and knowing that the compensation or the money will come to you eventually. But you've got to be able to give in order to start that business. I'm sure you know that. For me, it was really boiling down to learning how to relate to people, how to learn how I could serve them with what I had. And some of that was also understanding that I could not serve everybody. I have a limited capacity. And so, therefore, I needed to identify what my key customer looked like. So, who was it that I really wanted to serve, and what did they look like? I'm not talking about physically look like, but as far as, you know, did they need my service? Could they afford my service? And could I relate to them? In other words, could they be my friend? If they can't be my friend, then I probably don't need to be serving them, because we're going to end up not being a good fit along the way. And I'm going to get a bad customer review in the community. I need somebody who's going to talk about my service in a good way, not in a bad way. So, um, I know I've said like a lot of stuff there, and I really want to have this more as a dialogue. I'm not sure what you guys are used to, Adam, um, but a dialogue would be great.
Yeah. Hey, Chim, do you want to, first of all, kind of interpret some of that? It sounds like the main key takeaways, serving and kind of just explain to the group, maybe, um, and just for you, Hunter, everyone does speak English, but there are some dialects. So, um, and of course, the Zoom, not everything is absolutely audible, so we usually have our folks on the ground, reinterpret a little bit.
Okay, so do I need to slow down then a little bit?
I think the way you just paused at this moment is perfect. Just at least like capture the thought, and what we'll do, like you said, is a little bit of that back and forth dialogue. So,
Okay,
um,
perfect.
I think once they finish kind of relaying, what we usually do is kind of bring some people up, and ask about some of the challenges that they face, in terms of some of the high points that you mentioned, and just kind of hear some direct feedback.
Okay, perfect.
So I see in the front row, and it looks like everyone's getting closer, so that's always a good sign, right? I see in the front row, it looks like Barbara. Hi, Barbara. So she's got an interesting business selling doormats. And she really goes door to door, I think. So, Tim, maybe you can get Barbara to tell a little bit about her business and how she serves others, keeping on that theme and any challenges that she finds. Uh, let me know. Let us know. I mean.
Okay, so
Good afternoon, Barbara.
good afternoon. How are you doing then? Okay, so Barbara, what? Siapa Anda? Tulisan sudah pimpin dapur tapi okay, so Barbara, so Barbara specializes in doormats and second-hand clothes. So she sells from her house. She doesn't have a store, so she sells from home. And at the moment, she's also posting most of her items on Facebook, so she can attract customers from other parts of the area, or also within the locality, and also just within CBD. So her mode of payment. Okay, so she does two ways of payment. She does cash, and she also does credit sales. So usually people would borrow today and pay at the month the same price. Okay, so when she does a credit sale, she pushes the price slightly higher. And if you're buying cash, you will pay the original price. Then if you're going to pay at the month end, then people pay a slightly higher price. So that applies to both doormats and second-hand clothes. So that's her business model. Then at times she also does home deliveries in cases where people will say, oh, can you bring me a doormat and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. And Barbara, what do you do any follow-ups with your customers?
So bayanga bate mu fintu balaleta kuna customers yange. It's business there. So what she does is yes, there are follow-ups, but usually what she does is when she sells, she'll get contact numbers, and then she's also able to follow up and also to find out in case there are referrals where someone says, "Oh, if do you have anyone who's interested or things like that?" So that's how she also gets feedback like that, and then it's also a way of following up.
That's perfect. Oh, that's great. So some things that I have found, Barbara, on following up with my customers is looking for ways to develop a raving fan. And a raving fan is somebody who's going to go out and spread your goodwill without you paying them because of the way that you serve them. So it could be just a matter of remembering their birthday, following up with a thank you note. These things are very inexpensive to do. It just takes time to do it, and it's part of developing that customer relationship. Sometimes it's giving something a little extra. Maybe when I would deliver the clothes, I might package it up special for them or something like that. Just to give them a little something extra of value that they didn't expect, and maybe they didn't pay, one, they didn't expect it, and two, they didn't think they paid for it. Doesn't mean that they didn't pay for it, but they didn't think they paid for it. So it's a little extra value in that. And then again, those touch points, it's great that you're collecting numbers and names of other people that you can serve from them as customer reference. But just that happy birthday, that follow up and say, hey, it's a change of season. I got a new line. Can I come by and show it to you? Or, just something like that, and maintaining those touch points and those relationships and actually cultivating that relationship.
Okay, let me just interpret. Let me carry on. No more companies have to work. No more companies have to work. Basics, but you have to take and things like that. It's a way of other companies doing it. But what do you mean, National birthday. I'm not sure about a message. They have your happy birthday if you are around that one. Of course, for this message, they apply, but it's just the way of something which could have been the packaging. Or for example, much use the post something. Of course, it's a cost free, but be careful. Okay, we can proceed. We can proceed.
Yeah, I think that just is a really neat thing to think about, and I think you're also speaking to Hunter a little bit about what additional, you probably mentioned this data that we're getting, birthdays, so important to keep track of. And as your customers, like you said, weddings, anniversaries, that's a tough thing to do. And sometimes but it goes such a long way. So good thoughts there. And Barbara, we know that you've got your loan out for now being crowdfunded. We hope to get you launched. I think you're looking to expand your inventory, I think, and really get ready for, I know it's already the rainy season, but anything she wants to say while she has the spotlight that you want to say, Barbara?
Message baranda ikankara sana na intachinga atisina wasamisha business ifya kuti ngairani na ma customers refundira buno.
Okay, so what Barbara is saying is she's very grateful with today's teachings. At least she's been able to learn some part of relationship management where we are able to do things like even like freebies. For example, here we do a lot of when you buy things, for example, even just simple things like fruits or tomatoes from the market, the people will give you an extra. So yes, it is a cost to the business, but of course, how to factor in pricing and things like that. Yes. But usually they'll give you something. It's also a way of retaining customers because people will say that one always gives me some. So that's what she was also trying to say. She also added that at least she's learned some of these. These are things that we do without really understanding what you're doing, but we do it. So now she was just trying to confirm that, look, at least I've learned something that this really makes business sense. So she's quite.
Absolutely. All good businesses do that. In fact, if the lady to your left was your customer and she was buying clothes from you, yes. And she had the kid with her, I would probably, and I knew she had her son or daughter, I can't see her right now. So, but if I knew that the kid was there, I would bring kid clothing with me and just say, here's an extra. It would not necessarily be for her, but it would be for her child. And that
Exactly.
way she knew that I would also carry kid clothing and would be able to serve in that manner as well.
Okay, let me just interpret that. Kila mtu alienda kwa kwa. Other that like number shop for a second hand clothes. Umuntu achashita tomati. But for example, if you buy some customer wakataka mwana. Tumasafunya kona kwa mwana filafini. Aidha ni bikabu pe o kwa nkeza unafia wanafunza tuwashitisha. So if you are there. Okay, we're good. We can move.
Great. Well, I see next to her, Catherine. So why don't we go to Catherine for a quick moment? And Catherine is, she's got a little bit of a different business model. Hey, Catherine, how are you?
How are you?
Is that your little one?
Hey. 1 year 10.
Oh, yes, that's her last born son. He's 1 year, 10 months.
Awesome.
Oh, wow. He looks so big too.
Oh yeah, he looks big.
Yeah. He's
Growing up
But
strong.
yeah.
He's
Mm,
ready to go out and throw a football or something. Huh?
right.
So Hunter, Catherine she sells goat meat, right? Right, Jim?
Yeah.
And so I think her business has a lot to do with kind of getting the goat meat wholesale from probably, I think, folks out in the provinces, and then she brings it to market locally. So does she sell mostly to other grocery stores and things like that?
Okay, muma imangati moda mbuzi. Muma oda kuma famasi. Kuchilanga. Okafiwe. Ozina wama leta kuro muma omonsi kunkera moja. Then ngati mwaleta kuno mugusa kwa ndani. Kuba ntu nipa market, muma kusama pieces omo gusa za. Zango zankara za moyo. So what Catherine does is she'll go and buy the goat meat, usually in outside Lusaka, in places like Kafue or Chilanga or even further. That can be maybe 100 kilometers out of from here. So when she buys the goat meat, she does it in 2 ways. It's sometimes the animals are slaughtered and cut into pieces, and then they're sold off as on retail. Or alternatively, she also has customers that want the live goat. So she does it in 2 ways. And then she also sells charcoal. She also sells charcoal. The charcoal, she buys them in 90 kg bags, and then she pre-packs them into smaller ones, so that at least it can be affordable, and it actually fetches more, it's more profitable to sell them into smaller. It's the same thing with the goat meat, because the beauty is, if, for example, the slaughtered goat meat, she'll sell every item, starting from intestines, the head, yeah, so all the pieces from the goat is actually sold as meat. So even when she cuts it, when the animal is slaughtered, sold into pieces, it fetches. Yeah. So when she sells it as a slaughtered animal into pieces, she actually fetches double the price as compared to selling a live animal. So that's her business model.
Okay, so, but your customer, Catherine, is the person who's actually going to use the goat?
Yeah, yes. So what happens is there are people who buy the meat for home consumption. Then there are people who also buy the live goat, and then they also sell them either from nightclubs or bars where it's sold as they make a mini bride, and then they sell them from there. So there are people who also might just some people buy it for home consumption. Then some people will buy the whole goat meat, and then it's sold at the bar or at nightclubs outside the bar.
It's sold where? I'm sorry.
So yeah, so I'm saying there are 2 types of customers in this case. When the animal is slaughtered into pieces and cut into pieces, some people will buy the meat for home consumption.
Right.
Then the other segment is some customers will buy a live animal and then they'll go and slaughter it on their own. And then they'll start cooking it or drying it and sell it at a bar or nightclubs. So there's two different customers.
Okay,
Or even like
cool. Catherine, do you have any good recipes?
muzi buniko navo boikako visa watu ngati imasimu magusa yo piki wate. Aha. Okay, but my recipes it can be like, for example, magusa kumunga to spicy or salt to gulisa kumbali. Kai gulisa nyama mwanga kwa mimi na salt or spicy or banga magulisa. Okay. So she's saying she doesn't sell cooked meat, but she sells spices and salt.
Yeah.
She also stocks that, yeah.
Well, no, I'm not asking if she sells the cooked meat, but does she have a good recipe for cooking the meat?
Muziba mupikira. For example, muziba mupikira. Yes, she says yes, she does. She says yes, she does a good one.
Awesome. That could be.
To say if you're nearby, I should have given you something for you to taste.
I would love it. That would be a good way to add value to your customers, is just share recipes. Maybe, your own, or get some recipes from some other people to share, and help them learn how to use the meat better, make it go further. Maybe if you know how to butcher the meat in a better way, teach them how to do that. Those are things that you could do that don't really cost you anything, but could really go a long way to add value and retain customers and start creating that raving fan.
Okay. Maybe let me just interpret. Akamba pa nkani mungazi kadi amona ma customers venango ngati mungabe muvalangiza, for example, mbuzi maybe mungabangokambira pati supu ya mbuzi kuli vakashana vambiri pamene sivangazivana muvipikira kupika mbuzi. So pamenepo mungazivapunzisa vantu ya supu ya mbuzi timapika so mapaka kwevi vikavaso tevena kamba pati iyo kai simuspenda ndalama iliyonse kupunzisa muntu, but some people visit a customer. Okay, we're good.
Good. I'm sorry, I don't know much about butchering meat, so I know how to cook it, and that's why I like sharing recipes.
Yeah, and that's so neat, and thanks, Hunter, for pointing that out about just so many different ways to add value. And for the group there, I know we talked about value proposition. So hopefully everyone's kind of seeing that just the little nuances to just build those relationships. It might not be in that immediate transaction, but it'll go a long way.
Absolutely.
And to you, Catherine, we look forward to seeing your business grow. I know you got on the app yesterday as well, so congratulations. And we really look to see how you'll grow. On the app itself, I think you said that you sell as well dried fish and local chickens, and you want to use the loan to buy a tent to cover my charcoal during the rainy season. That sounds important. So I think, Hunter, you're probably seeing just the wide variety in the way that these entrepreneurs try to pivot during some of the different seasons. It sounds like charcoal may be one of her main things now, with while the goats grow or something like that. Is that correct, Chim? Chim, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
I was just reading off her profile on the Spark app, And she said she wants the loan to basically have a tent for charcoal selling. So I think for us here, we've obviously heard a little bit about the goats. I was telling Hunter and our friends throughout Facebook, a lot of these entrepreneurs have many different income streams. Not to take up too much more time, but it would just be interesting to educate our audiences on, she does goat, chickens, but how does the charcoal fit into the mix?
Okay. Charcoal, for the charcoal, it's another revenue stream for her. So she buys the charcoal and then she buys them into large quantities, into big bags. So it's pre-packed into smaller bags, which will probably cost about 25, what do you call it, 25 cents? Because 540. So 540 is about $20. Okay, so she buys the charcoal, the 90 kg for about $20, and then she pre-packs them into smaller packs, which will cost maybe 50 cents, 20 cents, and things like that. Then what they do with the charcoal here, we have most houses. Yes, some people have power, and some people do not have power. So some people, or even if they have power is a bit costly. So people opt to use charcoal or firewood for cooking. So this is how the charcoal now comes in. So the challenge that she has, the reason why she's talking about the tent and the stew stand is the storage facility, because she sells the charcoal from her house. Then right now it's raining, so the tent will be used to cover the charcoal. So at least, because once water goes to the charcoal, it won't burn and she won't sell, so she makes a loss. So this is one of the ways that she's trying to grow, because for things like charcoal, this is items that she's able to sell almost every other day, as compared to the goat meat. She has to follow it in let me just call it a different town, or maybe into rural farms. So so for this charcoal, at least it's something that goes every day. People buy that every other day. So that's what she's doing. Yeah. So that's the main reason for charcoal. It's for cooking, and when it's really, really cold, it's also used for heating. But yeah, plus, and then some people also use the same charcoal for poultry in chicken production in the poultry. So they'll put the charcoal in a brazier and then put them in the poultry. So some people, yes, don't have power. Some people do not have power. And remember, power here is a bit costly. The power, it's quite expensive. So most people opt to use charcoal firewood.
Yeah, that's very interesting, and thanks for that clarification. I think it speaks to trying to meet daily needs, while obviously a core business is a little bit more labor intensive and maybe takes some resourcing out to the countryside. So it requires somewhat of a transit time. Well, good stuff, Catherine, and we look forward to seeing you grow as you grow in our Spark program. We'd love to see and help you work through the financials and the business plan so that the GOAT process can really scale and become more sustainable. Because it sounds like that's quite a value proposition, providing that fresh goat meat. So good on you, and thanks for sharing your story. Who else do we have there, Chin?
We have there's which one of these are okay. Okay, we have Constance, we have Benjamin, we have Agnes. So maybe
Okay.
I think it's Mandeko. So maybe should I bring on Constance or should I bring in Benjamin? Maybe
How about we'll do Constance and then Benjamin. How about that?
Okay, that's fine. Wait, I know in fact it's my line to show more. Okay, Constance doesn't need any interpretation, so she'll be able to speak. Okay, we know.
Hello, Constance.
Hey, Constance.
Hello. are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You?
Fantastic.
Awesome. So what do you do, Constance?
At the station. Me, I sell charcoal.
You, s-
Yeah, sell charcoal. I sell bags.
Yeah, I think charcoal
Just charcoal?
is popular. It's popular there. But I think just for some clarity, um, for Constance, I think, does she, for you and everyone there, do you sell it in a different place? Or, I think for we're hearing that one of your fellow business entrepreneurs sells charcoal, you sell charcoal, but is there a different way that you do it so there's no competition, or you go to a different part of the town?
Yes, me, I do it in a different way because I sell bags. I don't repack them. I'm the one who sells to many catering so that they resell.
So
Okay.
you wholesale it. You have the bigger, you sell the bigger package.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
So
that's neat.
you guys are tied together then.
No, it's a different place. Me, I sell in the different place.
Yeah.
But
But
do
when
you
they get
sell
to-
little baggies?
Yeah, I do sell the big ones so that when catering comes, they order from me. Me, I sell at
Mhm.
order price.
Oh, wow.
The
And do
wholesale
you
price, yeah.
sell it all to Catherine?
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, that's neat how it's kind of all linked together. So
It's called distribution.
yeah, it's neat. So Kat, for you, Constance, since ask Hunter anything, do you have any challenges in your customer relationships or customer building? How do you build customers? And what are some of your ideal customers?
And that's why.
So yes, it's the relationship between the distributor and the retailer. How do you transaction? Not much ideally, a distributor asaba kama retailers need to be where retailer kamuzi.
Ndashishana kuri aba bafasha
One bag.
Yeah.
But in that international.
One bag. Yeah, rush to maybe 5, 10.
Okay. Okay, so what Constance is saying is she sells and distributes. She sells as a wholesale.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, are you able to hear me?
There we go. Yes. Thank you.
What happens is Constance is able to sell, to example, to Catherine, who will come and say, I want 5 bags. And then she also accommodates customers, for example, like me, who will just want 1 bag. But ideally, when you're selling on wholesale, she prefers to have customers who will come as, for example, as Catherine, who won't negotiate on price. But when I come as an individual, I'll come and say, look, but how come, can you give me a smaller, and things like, since I'm not going to resell, probably I'll ask for, I'll be able to negotiate. So for her, for she was saying, ideally she wants customers who, it's a very competitive market. And people always want to negotiate on prices when they're getting high quantities. So she says her ideal type of customers are customers who won't be able to ask for lower prices. They will just buy and go and not going to start asking for price, no, give me a discount and things like that. Because her margins already on wholesale are slightly lower as compared to people who are going to repackage. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I got the last part. She needs to do more volume with customers she already has. Is that what I heard?
Yeah, no, I was saying, ideally, she would prefer, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Ideally, she would prefer to have customers who do not negotiate on price. For
Ah.
example, when Catherine comes over, because these are people who are business to business, so people will just buy. But when she has customers who are not doing it for business, they usually want to negotiate on price. So she says her ideal type of customers, the customers that she wants, are people who don't talk about the discounts or negotiation on pricing and things like that. She says, I prefer someone who will respect my price of $100, she just pays the $100 rather than asking for a 10% discount and things like that. Because already it's a very competitive market. And then once she gives discounts, it eats into her profits. So ideally, she wouldn't want any negotiations on her price. She doesn't really like such kind of customers. Or ideally, she would prefer people who don't talk about discounts.
Yeah. So I think this goes back to just identifying who your ideal customer is. And maybe it's somebody, maybe you don't sell a one bag offering. Maybe you look at, all right, you've got a 5-bag minimum or something. I'm not sure what the market will hold, but somebody who just wants a single bag, maybe you need to refer them to one of your resellers like Catherine and just say, hey, go get a bag from her. That's what she does. I only sell in quantities of 5 or more. And so that way, when you do that, you're selling in a larger bulk and you're making your money there, and you're not, maybe at that point, maybe you're not having to negotiate on the price because you are delivering a better value in that. And then seek out more customers like Catherine and help them serve more customers. So help your customer build their business. And I think that's where you start adding value, because you could do that, and that retains that customer relationship with, say, a Catherine, but also helps her build her business, which then helps you build your business.
Yeah. Because it's like you're competing with Catherine, because Catherine allows you one bag and one bag. So food now become competitors na Catherine. So you'd rather refer my customers over one Catherine, even my 5
Yeah. And then again, remember Catherine's birthday, her anniversary, her kids' birthdays and stuff like that, and send her thank you notes. Just maintain that relationship.
So you have to perform a relationship. Like Catherine, happy birthday, Christmas, things like that. Relationship. Also, come back to big companies. Yeah. Always.
Yeah, I think that's so crucial about the referral process. So thanks for bringing that up, Hunter. And just if you saw me looking down, I was looking at Constant's app on the on our Spark app, and yeah, the bags are pretty big. Yeah, they're not. I was thinking they were like little goodie bags, and hopefully our friends at home can jump on that. But it's neat to see. They're almost like really lawn style bags. That's a lot of bags, and
Like 50 pound to 100 pound bags.
Yeah.
How many cases? How many cases?
Yeah, that's 100 kg.
100 kgs. Okay, so the bag's about 100 kgs.
100 kilograms.
Yeah.
And she carts them around, or how does she do it? She got a truck?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's it. Yeah.
so what she does is when she makes an order, because the charcoal comes from the outskirts or probably in the rural areas. So she'll make an order. Once the charcoal is ready, she hires a truck. and then the truck delivers the charcoal at her home where she works. Yeah, and then the charcoal is sold at the roadside where she sells from.
Okay.
Wow, it's incredible. Well, thanks, Constance, and we look forward to seeing your business grow. And you said you have Benjamin there?
Yes, babululu beso nangu tabari mbere vyamano bina befira bavyamano
Yeah, hello, Benjamin. Good to see you. Good to see you, Benjamin. I know that you're a father of 7. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, he's really taking care of the family, and his business is he's a retailer, sells plastic kitchen items, interestingly, and he wants a loan to expand the inventory, I think, to get maybe some different things like more silverware type. But Chim, over to you guys if Benjamin wants to kind of say anything more about that and why plasticware for the kitchen items is a popular business.
So his name is Benjamin Sonda. He sells plastic items like
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
he sells. Are you able to get me?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so he sells things like baskets, buckets, anything plastic. That's what he plus shining brushes and any other type of brush that are used domestically or in any way for shining or scrubbing brushes and buckets and jars and things like that. Any kitchen utensil, but usually plastic items and shining brushes. Okay, so the items that he sells are quite in high demand. He orders the items from within CBD, that's within town. Then he sells them. He also doesn't have a store. So what he does is he does home deliveries, and his business model or the business model is people buy cash, or alternatively people pay on higher purchase where they'll get the item and then they'll agree on either a day rate or weekly rate or monthly rate where they he gets a bucket for $10 and then they agree that every day that person will give him $1. So by the end of the month or the end of the week, the customer has paid in full. That's how he does it.
Nice. A little financing there. That's a good way to think outside the box, Benjamin.
Yeah, because you find that it's actually more, you're able to sell more because some people might not afford to buy it at, for example, even at $3, which is roughly just under 60 watts. So people would prefer to say, I'll give you 20 cents, probably a day, every day or every week. So by the end of the month, he would have already gotten his money. That's how it works. But cash, the same price, very cash. Okay, so if, for example, a customer is buying it on cash, if the customer is paying cash, the price is slightly lower as compared to a person who was buying it in installments. Did you get me?
Yeah. It does help when you direct the microphone more to your mouth, but I can hear you. So you've got an installment payment. You've got, do you have a different price if they pay in full up front?
Yeah.
Yes. And then a different price if they charge?
Yes. So if a customer is paying in installments, the price is higher as compared to a customer who's going to pay cash.
Okay. Yeah. So you're basically lending them money, and there's a cost in doing that. I understand. That's good. That's good. It's good business. You need to, if you, I personally, you know, I have to, we sell computer equipment, we sell, you know, services that way. And we have what's called a net 30, net 45 day. In other words, I do the work, I deliver the product, I then issue an invoice, and then it's 30 to 45 days before I get paid. So yeah, I do account for that, and you must, because you're quote financing it for that period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's just good business. You have to account for that, whether that's in a uptick in the cost of the product, or there's some kind of finance rate. In other words, that you say, okay, here's the price for buying it, but here's the price for me lending you the money to buy it, so to speak. So, so there is a cost of doing that. How do you currently retain your customers, or how do you stay connected with your customers today?
So imwe customers venu ngavashite chinto, for example, muvasungana shandifira kwati pa customer vakabwerena futi, because remember ifo tofaya repeated customers, muntu ngashita lero customer amairwaisa ashita ikia mukangopera nomba imumu muchita shandi pakuti va customer ukusunga ma customers venu pakuti vera mkushita kuri vanhu.
So business itaipwa.
Okay, so his strategy. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so his strategy is the customers more like pre-order. So for example, the customer gets a bucket, for example, and the customer will say, once I finish paying for this, I want to get a plastic basket now. When I'm done with this one, I want a shining brush. So the relationship, more like people are always buying from him because of the same thing. Because you find that, for example, a woman can be buying a bucket. Yeah. So for example, he also sells those baby hubs. So it's a plastic bucket which is used for washing the baby. So a lady might say, when I'm done with this, paying for this, I also want a basket where I can put her clothes and things like that. Or then afterwards, I also need a shining brush. So usually it's not a one-off business, because people, of course, because he sells different types of items. So people might want 2, 3, 4, 5 items at the same time, but even for him, he can't give them at the same time, because first of all, they'll be holding on to his money. So what he does is, okay, pay for this one. When you're done with this one, come and then you get this one. When you're done with this one. So for him, it's much easier because he does home deliveries. So he knows where the customers stay, so he can give them and then collect every other day. That's how he does it. So it's also a way of retaining his customers.
Okay. No, that's fantastic. How do you find new customers?
Customers are new. Okay, so what he does is he moves on a bicycle. So music. Okay, so he moves he rides a bicycle with his items on the bicycle. So usually people would stop, because what he does is he makes rounds. So he'll be going around as he's following up with customers. He's also meeting other customers who may definitely stop and ask for items like that. That's how he finds his new customers. So he's ever on the road, since he doesn't have a store or sells from home. Of course, he sells from home. Some items are also sold at home, but he's usually on the road. So because when people get these items, people would stop, and then that's how he gets his new customers.
That's good. So Benjamin, how can you add some extra value to your customers?
If you fish, for example, plastic na shining plastic. Customers then. Oh, okay. So he says for him to one of the ways of adding value to his customers he sometimes buys those cheap spoons or cups, which he gives as extras. That's what he does.
Awesome. That's fantastic. She already got that incorporated in. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff, Benjamin, and I'm glad that you were able to share a little bit. You know, it sounds like you've really got a good base, and really just trying to connect directly with people. That's amazing. And from Jenny, what does he do during the rainy season if he can't ride his bike?
Ngati imvula ngayileero kasana so mwenda shani we mwifiro kuenda kai because of imvula so ninjinga mwenda okay, so what he's saying is in days where he can't ride his bike because of the rain, he'll just get his gumboots and an umbrella, and then he starts going around.
Wow. That's good work.
That's the way to overcome. Yeah, that's being an entrepreneur, finding a way around it.
There you go. Well, good job. That's impressive.
Hey, Adam, he's got what you said, 7 kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yeah,
incredible.
so he's got to burn. He's got to get out there and hustle.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I don't blame him.
No matter whether it's raining or not, they got to get out there. Probably just get out of the house.
You need to. You need to. And certainly we're grateful for that effort, Benjamin, because you really are an example of entrepreneurial spirit. So keep at it. I think also, hopefully I saw your app come through yesterday. Please work with Mr. Chisaste so we can get you now on the next phase, because we want to see you grow as well. So thanks a lot for sharing though. And we look forward to hearing you soon. Chim, I know we're coming up on time, so do you want to just bring it back to the main group, and then we'll just share some final comments from Hunter?
Oh, okay. I was hoping we could do the last one. Jennifer is actually almost here. To be brief. Oh, sorry, Joyce.
Okay. Hunter, are you coming up on an appointment?
Yeah, I've got like 5 minutes left.
Okay, to be 1 minute then.
Okay.
Okay. We'll do what they call a speed round here. Joyce, I think, has she does rice and clothing production. It looks like. Chin.
No. Okay, so Joyce is a tailor, but she makes uniforms and school sweaters. That's what she does. Rice, plus rice as well.
Oh wow, she has a lot. So she's a tailor.
Yeah.
And she wants to use the loan to buy clothing materials, and because she only has gray and black sweaters.
Gray and black, yes.
Okay.
So one of the issues, because she specializes in school uniforms, and most of the schools here, the jerseys are either gray and black. And then black and gray. Or blue and gray. Okay. But they won't pay. Okay, so right now she sells blue and gray, but because remember she has a limited resources, so currently she's only selling blue and gray. So what she wants to use the funds for is she wants to buy more colors as materials, so she's able to sell even gray sweaters and any other colors, even things like duster coats and things like that.
Okay. And I guess just in terms of customers, probably schools and things like that, or school children. Great.
Yes. So our customers mainly, our main customer base is school to school children. So because it usually makes uniforms and sweaters for school boys and girls.
Awesome. I know one thought that comes to my mind that I kind of wish that, that would come in the clothes for my girls. I have 3 girls. So, and I have one that actually wears school uniforms. I have one in college, one in high school, and then one in the 5th grade here.
Okay.
And when I think about sweaters and jackets and such, I think about my girls losing them because they didn't have their name in them. And I know you probably sell it to them, and then they may hand it to somebody else afterwards. But if you could, I think a little extra something nice in that would be somewhere to put a name tag, whether it was something that you could take in and out that would be sewn into the back, or you could easily take off and put in somebody else's name tag so that they knew that, oh, that's my sweater, or that's my jacket. And that way they wouldn't, if it went to lost and found, they'd be able to find it.
Okay, let me
But-
just interpret. Let me just do a quick interpretation. So then, but for example, mwalanda ti muntu ngalesta uniform aidha pala bakataji kwa ita positionary yako. Sasa mwana ngana ya kuchukua kama unasema na kuchukua kwa masweta hivi. Oh, you put a initials per sweater. Okay. So what she does actually is that because of the same issue that you mentioned about pupils losing sweaters, she actually puts when the jersey is made, when an order is made for a sweater, she puts the initials of the child on the sweater. It's actually engraved there, so to avoid those kind of problems.
Awesome. Fantastic. So she's already doing that. That's great.
Well,
I don't know much about the clothing industry. I'm sorry, but man, I commend you for doing that. That's great. And then you do rice as well. What do you do with the rice?
Rice mushishapanga omushopo iwo yakodesa nango yakushitisha. Oh, okay. So for the because she has a tailoring shop, so in the same shop she actually sells she also sells rice. So rice is sold in either as in bulk or is sold as retail. So she's got customers that will come and buy in slightly larger quantities as compared to people who buy for home consumption. That's what she does. Oh, okay. So for her, when you get the rice today, you pay for it after 2 weeks. So Nakash. So when you're buying on cash, for example, you pay 85 kwacha for a bucket of rice. Then if you are going to pay after 2 weeks, pay 100 kwacha. So the child, she also does the similar thing. When you're buying on credit, you buy at a higher price.
Yep.
Very neat. Well, good stuff, Hunter. Let me I know you got to run, but if you have 2 more seconds, we usually do a
Sure.
group photo.
Okay.
And we'd love to just thank you again for just joining us. And I know everyone learned so much today. Truly a blessing to get that type of insights on customer relationship. Chim, I don't know if you can show the group. We'll just do a quick photo.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed meeting every one of you in Zambia. I just commend you for being an entrepreneur and going down that journey. That's fantastic. So awesome.
I think you guys might have to stand up
Pull the camera down.
or put the camera down. All right. There you go. All right, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Good one. Perfect. What a great crew. Well, thanks again, Hunter, and for everyone in Zambia. We will see you all soon. I know we'll be in touch with the next steps, and keep learning, keep growing, and we'll talk to you soon. I don't know, Jim, are they still there? Do we just want to tell them goodbye for us? See you all. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye. Take care, okay?
Thanks.